Inside of You is brought to you by my good friends at Sonos. I've talked about this for a while because Sonos is something that I've had for years, and I didn't need them as my sponsor to talk about how great they were. I spent money on Sonos for years because I just love the product. Anybody I know who has Sonos loves this stuff. It's great for the holidays, great for gifts. I could play music in each room of my house, or I could play party mode in all the rooms at the same time, or outside could be party mode, inside could be just chill with my yacht rock music. You could do anything. Sonos is affordable, it's light, you don't need big receivers and all these other things. Sonos makes it so easy. So share the joy of listening on Sonos this season. Make the sound system on your wish list a reality with speakers and sound bars that are easy to set up. I mean, they're easy, dude. I can freaking do it. They're easy to use. They all work together so you can listen in any or every room like I talked about and bring the family together with some incredible sound from everything from classic carols to festive films. Sonos works with all your streaming services, and control is simple with the Sonos app, your voice using Amazon Alexa, or Google Assistant and Apple AirPlay 2. Spoil the listeners in your life with a gift that keeps on giving. Treat gamers and movie lovers to an immersive home theater experience with Beam. That's BEAM. Keep your fitness-loving friends motivated with great sound for their workout playlists with Move. And help relatives relax with hand-free control of their music and more on Sonos One. I mean, why isn't Sonos on your holiday wish list? You just don't know, do you? Well, it's time. It's time to get some Sonos during the holidays. And you can go to my friendly friends over at Sonos.com to learn more and wrap up your holiday shopping. That's Sonos.com. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining me. If you're sitting in your car, you're on your way to work, I hope you have a great day at work. I hope you have a great week at work. I hope you're listening and you're enjoying and, take your mind off things for a minute. I've got a great guest today, Gregg Sulkin, the Runaways, pretty smart. We'll get into that in a minute. Talks about Selena Gomez, working with her and having a healthy lifestyle. Ryan, I had a little issue this last week.
What happened?
Well, we went on a post-Thanksgiving hike. And I take my friends out to Victorville, and we go on this hike, and it's a bunch of us.
That's far.
And my friend Christy, it is kind of far, but it's a great time. We drive out a couple hours. We hike in an hour. We're down to these hot springs. So we get down there, and it's a little treacherous to get through. We have to get through waist deep water to get to these natural hot springs. Well, I get across. Everybody's across, except my girlfriends, Christy and Shira. And they're just, I think they're fucking around. So I'm like, guys, come on. I'm yelling across the water. Come on, it's great over here. And they're like, we're going to go back. And I'm like, what? And I looked at the other guys, my friends who are in the hot springs. I go, something's wrong. I got to go back. And I walk back, and Christy's face was just swollen. Like, I've never, like Rocky Balboa 12th round. And like just a huge golf ball in her face. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? So she slipped on a rock and hit her face.
Oh, fuck.
So we immediately had to turn around right when we got there, turn around and hike back up. But she was a good sport. She's doing okay. But it's kind of crazy because if she would have split that open or something, it could have been a lot worse. But we ended up going to the Olive Garden after, and regardless, we were very happy about the Olive Garden taking care of us at Victorville. Thank you, Olive Garden. And Christy was a really good sport. So Christy, if you're listening, you're a good sport. You didn't ruin the trip at all. But it was, you go into survival mode, like, okay, here's what we're going to do. And then she was okay, but we had to hustle back, and it was a hard, treacherous hike back. So I was definitely a little worried. Hey, thanks for listening. As I said, also, I want to just throw a shout out at my buddies at the company Weird. Yeah, it's Weird, WYRD, weirdleatherandmead.com. They have amazing stuff over there. Weird is a nerdy medieval fantasy pop culture loving business that is heavily focused around the community and recently played host to the Rose City Comic-Con launch party. For more information, check it out because they've got this wonderful mead. If you haven't had mead, it's like what would you call it? Like a...
It's a sweet. It's what is it? It's fermented. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, it's the oldest alcoholic beverage in the world, and mead is brewed using honey as its sugar source instead of grapes. It's delicious. They sent me a bunch of this stuff. all you have to do if you want to check this out and support small businesses is go to weirdleatherandmead.com and become a warrior of the weird. And weird is WYRD, leather and mead, weirdleatherandmead.com. Also a shout out to Echoes of Hope, who I work with. You can donate to them. They're hosting a holiday event for under-resourced children, teens, and young adults. Roughly 300 students will be supported this December. So if you want to purchase a gift, you just go to echoesofhope.org. Tell them I sent you. It's the holidays, so you want to give back. Echoes, ECHOES, echoesofhope.org. Great. And last but not least is another company that I'm working with, another nonprofit called Food on Foot. If you go to foodonfoot.org, you could help the homeless situation, which is getting bigger and bigger, and we need to put a stop to it. So if you want to donate for the holidays, it's a great place. They do so much for the homeless community, and you go to foodonfoot.org to help them out. So echoesofhope.org, foodonfoot.org, and weirdleatherandmead.com. These are just some places I thought I'd shout out. If you want to follow us, our handles are at Inside of You Podcast on the Instagram and Facebook, and at Inside of You Pod on the Twitter. Anything else, Ryan, you want to add to that?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got nothing.
We got new stuff at the Inside of You online store, new tumblers. So check out the Inside of You online store and some great stuff at the Sunspin, my band, sunspin.com. And you could book us for a Zoom if you go to sunspin.com.
Those little squishy balls still available? Those little stress balls?
Yeah, I don't sell those. Those are little stress balls that I give for all my patrons. And speaking of patron, if you go to patreon.com/inside of you, I know there's a lot today, but it's the holidays. But my patrons really support the podcast in so many ways, more ways than you could possibly imagine. And I'm very grateful to them. And some of them, depending on what tier you're in, you get a package from me every couple of months and a note from me. And as Ryan was saying, these little stress balls, those are one of the gifts that I throw in one of the boxes. So go to Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you, patreon.com/inside of you, and join Patreon today. Join the family. So many people become friends on that. It's a wonderful community, and I thank them a million. But let's, I think we have a busy day today. Gregg Sulkin is on the podcast. It was great. I didn't know him at all, and when I don't know someone, it's I learn a shit ton. I really learn a lot, and you think, okay, was this guy going to bring anything? And he brought it. And I think you're going to really enjoy him. He's a lot of fun, and I think you'll learn a little from him. We talk about a lot of good stuff. And thanks for supporting me. Sometimes you don't know the guest, but you listen anyway, and you learn something. And so many emails that you guys send me that, they tell me how the podcast affects you, and it means a shit ton to me. So that's awesome. So Ryan, that's it. Ryan brought me a gift. He brought me a bottle of wine. I appreciate that for the holidays. I don't get gifts very often, but it was very nice of you to bring me a gift.
And it's a little Hanukkah present.
It's a Hanukkah present.
Yeah.
It's the fourth day of Hanukkah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a real practicing Jew, but I'm proud to say that I am Jewish, and I don't care what you are. I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of that and respect everyone. We love you. Let's get inside of Gregg Sulkin.
It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience.
I thought about this. I thought about before doing the podcast today. I was like, he's too good. I've seen these interviews. You've done a lot of great work and all this stuff, but I'm like, there's got to be some dark side to him. There's got to be something, because I know that you want to play, and you can play, the bad guy. You want to be perceived probably as the bad guy. Because for me, I was always a goof, and then they gave me the chance to be Lex Luthor. And all my friends were like, you, Lex Luthor? This is ridiculous. But I'd love to see you as the Christian Bale in American Psycho, or something like that, where you're just such a great guy, but then you uncover the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some shit.
I mean, I'm a Gemini, so
I like Gemini. I date Geminis.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, bit nuts.
Are they a bit nuts?
I think so. They say there's two sides to Geminis, and I agree. So I definitely think that maybe in my career I've only been able to show one side, maybe, not one side, but a few different sides. But the dark side
Right.
is definitely a fun side that one day I'd like to.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 29.
29.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've lived, or you feel like you have so much to do?
I feel like I have so much to do and achieve for sure, because I've always been very driven.
Right.
Very I feel like I got that from my dad. My dad grew up with nothing, and worked his ass off and provided for me and my brother and my mom, and come from a very traditional household.
Right.
So I definitely got the hardworking gene, I think, from him. But then on the other side, it's like, yeah, I feel like I've been going through this over the last years, especially through the pandemic. You sort of question what's important. And yeah, working is really important, and achieving success to me is really important. But at the same time, it is important just to sort of breathe for a second, take in your friendships, enjoy those moments with your mates, go for a glass of wine and just shoot the shit,
yeah. Be present.
Yeah. And I think it's really hard for me in this industry, because I'm always thinking of the next job, or how can we further the career, or what can we do? What can I be doing to be better? And sometimes that's not always the healthiest.
Why is it, Ryan, that I feel like, once again, there's a 9-year-old man here in the room, and I'm 49, and yet I feel like he's got it taken care of. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and I'm going to learn something from him. That's what I already get that, and he said 10 words.
You probably will learn something.
Because
what a good day for you.
Because I wasn't thinking about being present. I'm trying to learn that now, is being present. Let's take it back. Let's go back to when you were growing up. I mean, so were your mother and father always very present? Always were they like, Gregg, I love you. I'm proud of you. I just whatever you want to do, son. Was it always like that?
My mom was. My dad, I love. He sacrificed so much. I used to play soccer as a kid, and he used to give up his job, and not give up his job, but used to leave his job early to take me to soccer. And so there's hours and days and months that he's sacrificed. But at the same time, he was a little bit hard on me, in the sense of, I remember playing soccer, and he used to look at me from across the field if I did a bad pass. And I wasn't worried about what the coaches said. I was just more worried about what my dad said.
Just the look that he gave you?
Just the look, and I could see it from far away, and I could see his body language throughout the game. So yeah, he's been definitely tough, but I think it came from a place of love. Don't sell yourself short. I know what you're capable of, whether it's acting, whether it's as a human being,
Right.
we could all be doing more. And so don't sell yourself short was the mentality that he had towards me.
So he wasn't always like your mom was like, I love you, sweetheart. He was just a little tougher on you. I got you beat though. This isn't a contest, but I remember my dad. I told the story before, I think, but did I tell you the story about after I scored 3 goals in a hockey game and we won the game and we went on to the finals in the tournament? My dad was the head coach, and I remember being in the car going, I go, Dad, I scored 2 goals and then I scored the winning goal in overtime and we won. And my dad just goes, it was a weak goalie.
Oh, that's not ideal.
He was really tough on me. He was really hard on me, and he wasn't someone. I think it was just the era that he lived in. He couldn't say I love you. I'm proud of you. That wasn't in the cards. He wanted me, I think, inadvertently to feel like he was a superhero. He was he never drank, he never smoked, he never did this. And then I learned as I got older that he did all this shit, and he was a fuck up too.
Yeah,
he was a big fuck up. He probably invented acid. You know what I mean?
How old is he?
He's about 19 years older than me. So, he's 70, and I'll be 50 next year.
Okay, so similar. My dad had me a little bit late too, and they're the same age, so that makes total sense.
Really?
From that era of that tough love.
Were they tough? Was he tougher on you than you was your brother?
My brother, I don't know. My brother, I love my brother. He, no, they're tough on us in different ways, for sure.
Like how?
My brother, it does real estate. My dad does real estate. So I think that there's a lot of this is what you should be doing. Whereas in this field, they don't really know what I should be
what
doing.
to say to you.
So I get off a little lightly. But I think with my brother, yeah, I think they're tough. They want us to do well. They want us to be kind. They want us to, push forward our life. And if we're not doing that, then then they're not, then especially my dad, he's not thrilled, because my dad sacrificed everything. It's not, easy to wake up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. My dad sold like kitchenware on the street corners.
Wow.
It's sort of like how he got expelled at 13 years old from school, was involved in fighting, and
involved in fighting,
meaning he started the fight and finished it, is what he tells me.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
joking. But he just left school at 13, 14, and then hustled himself, just sort of him and his brother. And then they sold kitchenware, and then they ended up doing real estate. And then they were known in London as like these two young property guys who sort of came from nowhere. So like, I have a lot of respect for that, because I think it's hard to create success on your own without help. And he managed to do that.
Well, what did he think about you when you started thinking, he's busted his ass, he's selling, what is it again? What was he selling?
Kitchenware.
Kitchenware.
I mean, kitchen knives.
Like Farberware and things like whatever those. Yeah.
Yeah, like things that, you
cutlery.
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 But also machines, like how to slice an avocado, or,
right.
You know what I mean? That
the
kind of
Wonder
stuff.
Knife. It would just simply cut through anything.
Yeah, he was a great salesman. Like I've seen videos. He just knew what he was doing. He knew how to sell.
Maybe you got some of that salesmanship from him in terms, because acting is kind of salesmanship. You're selling yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're selling your soul.
You're selling your soul.
Yeah, I mean, there's a presentation aspect for sure.
Right.
That I think I got from him. Or I hope I got from him.
Well, do you think that, it was hard when you were, I don't know how old you were, you could tell me, but like getting into acting when he's been doing all this stuff and busting his ass, and then you're like, I want to be an actor.
Yes, I mean, I got into acting when I was 12 or 13. So for me,
was it high school or grade school?
We do like,
what is it?
Junior school and senior school.
Junior school. See, what's junior school go up to?
Oh, I think maybe like
8th grade.
12. I don't know what that is.
Right. Oh, sorry, you wouldn't know that. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm telling him something he wouldn't know. Junior school, because we have grade school, we have junior school, middle school, and then we have high school.
Right.
So it's like 1st through 6th grade, and you're up till about 11, and then 12 and 13 years old for middle school, and then 14 to 18 for high school.
Yeah, we have not that.
Not
We had
that.
junior school and senior school, and I don't remember, because school wasn't really a thing for me. I mean, I enjoyed
Right.
it. I enjoyed it for the social aspect, and I enjoyed it for the sports, but the academic side of school was not for me.
So what were you in high school? Were you popular?
I mean, popular, it was actually pretty weird, because I felt like I got on with everybody. And then when I got into the industry, I got treated differently when I came back. Because I went to the same school as Freddie Highmore, who's a very successful actor.
I looked at you blankly, didn't I?
No. I mean, a little bit.
But he's done a lot of big stuff.
For sure. Like Freddie did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He did Bates Motel. He's now on
Oh, okay. Now I know
you know.
exactly who he is.
Yeah.
You know who he is.
He's the good doctor.
Good Dog.
Yeah.
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 So
You went to school with him?
yeah, but the thing is with Freddie, and the difference between Freddie and I was Freddie was extremely intelligent, and was all in the A.
Don't sell
sets,
yourself short.
and I was just not in the A sets, And so when Freddie went away to shoot, I asked the same question, like, "Oh, hey, I've got this job. Can I go away to shoot?" And they were like, "No." And Freddie was allowed to, just because he was so incredibly intelligent,
Right.
that he was able to do both. Whereas it took me a minute to do film and TV and also study.
Inside of You is brought to you by my good friends at BetterHelp. BetterHelp Online Therapy. Boy, I can't tell you how much this works. I get emails all the time. Thank you for talking about BetterHelp. Thank you for getting me into therapy. Ryan does BetterHelp.
I do.
I just had a friend this morning. I was FaceTiming with him, and his wife said, my kid's dealing with depression. And do you know any good therapists? I go, well, BetterHelp Online Therapy, because they're in the middle of sort of nowhere, and you don't need to go anywhere. You can FaceTime or text, or it's BetterHelp is just it's amazing. It's helped you out.
Yeah, it's convenient. And,
It's convenient.
Yeah, it has been good. I have gotten a lot out of it.
Well, I like that. Look, whether you're struggling with grief, relationships, or stress, or having trouble sleeping or meeting goals, online therapy might be for you. BetterHelp is secure online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with a licensed professional therapists. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own accredited therapist. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And you don't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. Therapists have a broad range of expertise which may not be available in your area. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime, folks. Send a message to your therapist. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if you need. And that may happen. You meet someone the first time, you may not vibe with them, you change a therapist. BetterHelp, it's that easy, and I completely recommend this. So many people have told me it works. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy by a landslide, if you ask me, and financial aid is available. Visit betterhelp.com/inside and join over the 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp, Ryan, that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. Inside of You is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off their first month of online therapy at betterhelp.com/inside. That's betterhelp.com/inside. Give it a shot. BetterHelp. Inside of You is brought to you by HelloFresh. HelloFresh. Say that, Ryan.
HelloFresh.
HelloFresh. Doesn't it just sound soft and supple and sweet when you say HelloFresh?
Fresh is a good word.
Yeah. With HelloFresh, guys, you get fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. And guess what? You skip those trips to the grocery store. And you count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it is America's #1 meal kit.
HelloFresh meals are ready in around 30 minutes or less. Plus, with their quick and easy meals, 20-minute recipes, or low prep and easy cleanup options, you can get food on the table quicker so you can spend more holiday time with loved ones.
Save an average over $65 per month when you order HelloFresh instead of grocery shopping. That's more money to spend on presents and activities. What I love about this is that I'm getting a good meal, a solid meal that I can choose that is easy to put together and make. I'm not ordering on these apps where you spend tons and tons of money for delivery fees and all these things. I spend so much money on that stuff, and it's like, you get this stuff, it's cheaper than going to a grocery store, and it's all there, portioned out for you, so you won't make mistakes. I make this stuff. I make wonderful dinners, and I'm proud of it, and it looks easy because it is easy. Go to HelloFresh.com/IOU14 and use code IOU14 for up to 14 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/IOU14 and use code IOU14 for up to 14 free meals and 3 free gifts. Pretty incredible. America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh. Go check it out. Inside of You is brought to you by Brooklinen. I love these guys at Brooklinen. They know comfort. They just sent me a whole bunch of sheets. I put them on my bed. I'm sleeping longer. I'm more comfortable. And boy, are these sheets effective. I got to tell you, I'm used to just like, you think you just need cheap sheets on a bed.
No, you can have quality.
But you can have quality, affordable sheets on your bed. Mm-hmm. And it just makes such a difference. I didn't realize that. Thank you, Brooklinen. If the holidays snuck up on you too, know there's still time to get it right. This gifting season, Brooklinen has perfect presents for everyone on your list. Whether you're shopping scents for a candle lover or grabbing a gift card, aka the gift that keeps on giving, this kind of comfort is always a hit for the holiday.
Brooklinen makes award-winning comfort year-round that makes the perfect gift this holiday season.
Brooklinen's goal is to create beautiful, high-quality home essentials that don't break the bank. It's the perfect place to find the best gift.
Take the guesswork out of gifting with comfy crowd pleasers from Brooklinen.
You got to give Brooklinen a shot. You got to check them out. People always email me. They're like, hey, seriously, what products do you really like? And Brooklinen's one of the products that when they send you product to try out, mm-hmm. that's when you know if you really like it. And then you can actually talk about it and say, friends, Brooklinen's the real deal. They're great. I would definitely recommend them to anybody. Give the gift of comfort this season, this holiday season, and save while you do it. Go to brooklinen.com and use promo code INSIDE for $20 off with a minimum purchase of $100. That's Brooklinen, BROOKLINEN.com, and enter the promo code INSIDE for $20 off with a minimum purchase of $100. Brooklinen.com, promo code INSIDE. What was the first thing you did at 12 years old?
I did a movie called 66.
66. Was
yeah.
that the one with Helena Bonham Carter?
It was.
You see how I know my shit?
Yes, it was. Have you seen the movie?
I haven't seen it, but I love Helena Bonham Carter.
Okay, so...
Was she intimidating?
No.
She wasn't.
No, she was the nicest human ever. Because it was very weird. It was actually my first audition. My dad told me, hey, no, it was actually my mom. She showed me a newspaper article, and I'm Jewish.
I'm a Jew too.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. That's about all I know.
Shalom.
Shalom. I know that one.
And so, my mom saw a newspaper article and it said, auditioning for a boy who's just recently had his bar mitzvah, and it's to play in a movie, a Universal movie called 66.
This was the first thing you auditioned for?
First thing I ever auditioned for.
Oh my God.
And it was crazy. My mom said to me, she was like, look, I was like, no, don't be ridiculous. I don't want to act. Like, this is absurd. Like, I'm not doing it. And she was like, well, if you do it, I never asked you to do anything again. Just go to the audition. So I was like, okay, great. At 12 years old, I was like 13. I was like, perfect. I don't have to listen to my mom telling me what to do. Like, sign me up. I went there. Fiona Weir was the casting director who casted Harry Potter.
Wow.
And it ended up just sort of working out. And then Helena came onto the movie. It was Richard Curtis who wrote the movie. And it was just like this big movie in the UK. And I was this kid who'd never done anything before, never wanted to do anything before, and then somehow got like an opportunity of a lifetime to go and be in a movie, the lead, with Helena playing my mom, and Eddie Marsan too, who's an unbelievable
And you
actor.
didn't know, honestly, did you have an acting coach?
No.
You didn't know what you were doing?
Didn't even know acting coaches existed, to be honest.
You just got in there, learned your lines, and started acting.
Yeah,
That's absurd.
I know. It is. Now thinking about it, I'm like, what was I doing? And I didn't know what I was doing.
Maybe you were just fearless as a kid.
Fearless. I remember the first day I got to, I think it was Pinewood Studios in London. And I got there, and on sets, there's obviously the inside of the set, and then there's the backdrop. So we did the first 3 weeks on location, and then the rest was in a studio. We ended up, I remember going to the set and assuming that I just had to act in front of the backdrop, and they would just plop me into the scene. Like, I had no idea that there was a set inside in front of the backdrop. That's how much I knew about the industry. But I loved it because you know what I loved about it is what I still love about it today, which is the crew. I love working with the crew. I think it's so collaborative. I think it's so nice to be in a team. I grew up playing sports. So for me, it's not like, I'm the lead of this show or I'm the lead of this movie. It's like, no, like we're all creating this movie together and let's hope it's successful. Let's hope it's a hit. And that experience of working with people who are amazing at their job is what to me makes it so fun.
You know what I like to do on set always? I've always been, because they're like they're like the audience to me. Mm-hmm. When I'm acting, I always want to know everyone's names. I want to get to know their names because I think you said this in an interview before and you were dead on right, as far as I'm concerned, how they become family. They're sort of your family while you're there. And when you get to know these guys, it's almost like a support system. You can do your best work. And I noticed a lot of actors don't know the crew's name. They just hit their mark, or they're sort of oblivious. It's just my lines and act. But you seem to want to get to know these folks. You want to seem to get to know the crew and talk about that.
For sure. I just think that they are, as an actor, it's like, look, the entertainment industry isn't glamorous, as you know. But in a way, it's like, as an actor, you do get treated so well. Like, you have people bringing you coffee. You have people making sure that your shoes are comfortable.
I brought you coffee.
I know. It was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
Very nice, by the way.
I made you coffee too, Ryan.
I did. I drank it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You
Good
downed
for you.
it.
You downed it.
Yeah.
Both of you, I feel like, are more like men than I am because you have your coffee black.
I always pounder black coffee.
Yeah, it's like, I'll just have a black coffee. I'm a man. I'm like, I like some sweetener, like some whipped cream. I want mine to be a little bit fun in the morning. But you like to get to know the crew. You like to become family.
For sure. I just think that I was so...
And you were a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I still remember the first runners, like a runner, a person who
Someone who gets your coffee.
Yeah. I still know his first, I don't remember. I was 13 years old and I still remember. His name was Joey, blonde hair, the coolest dude. And to be honest, Joey, the runner, probably allowed me to have such an amazing experience on set is one of the reasons why I'm actually still in this industry today. Because if I had a bad experience, I wouldn't have continued it. But he was just so nice and so chill that I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, and I haven't spoken to him since I left the movie, but he still sticks with me for sure.
Joey, you've done a really good job. Look at this career this guy has, and it's all because of Joey.
For sure. And even on my last show, we had a set PA called Greg, who was amazing. On the current show now, there's Cassie and Mitch, who are like amazing. So it's like, yeah, they do. They become your family. And these people, they're just great, so hardworking. And it's fun. I think crew members are really underappreciated, especially from the outside. But I think once you've been in the industry for a long time, you know that the crew are the glue to this industry.
How did your family perceive this experience? When do you remember when your dad first watched this movie?
66. He's Jewish. My mom converted to Judaism because she married my dad.
Right.
So he was really proud. He was really proud because, as being Jewish, there's a huge sense of community and pride to be Jewish. I know I feel that. And so yeah, he was just really proud. But the best part was that when I first went to the premiere, it was in Leicester Square, which is like a big, big place to go and have a premiere. And my brother came with me, who at the time was 17 years old, 18 years old, like very handsome boy, looked like a young David Beckham at the time, like long hair, wore a suit, like immaculate. Right. I remember getting out the car and there was just screaming fans, like screaming girls. And they thought, the movie was...
They thought he was
the star. And he was there signing autographs, taking my limelight.
Upstaging.
It was the worst ever. So, it's always sort of humbled me. And also Borat, the movie Borat came out the same day as 66 did.
Right.
And so we were expected to be a huge hit. And Borat sort of became like a global, hit. And so we didn't become the hit that we thought that we were going to become, which was the best thing to ever happen to me. Because I think if you're 13 years old and you don't know yourself and suddenly you become extremely famous, I don't know how healthy that is for a human being at 13. So
I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people get such success at a young age. I've been working since I did a play when I was in high school, and then I did plays in college, and then I went to New York, and I made no money doing off way the hell off Broadway, and then I started doing stuff. But it was always incremental. It was always step by step, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, and it just kind of gradually. I never was an overnight success like the guy on my show, Tom Welling, who was on Smallville. He was sort of an overnight success, and I always looked like, holy shit, man, how do you deal with all that pressure? So you're saying ultimately that the fact that this movie wasn't a huge success kind of humbled you and, made you a little more prepared for what was to come.
For sure, 100%, because as you know, there's ups and downs. There's definitely steps back, or you feel there's steps back. Step back. Yeah. Whatever. And so, yeah, I think it definitely propelled me for what this industry is all about, which is you got to be thick-skinned. You got to be able to maneuver. You got to be able to kind of lift yourself up when things don't go your way. And so, yeah, it was the best thing to ever happen to me.
Were you pleased with your performance? Did Helena?
We say Helena.
Did Helena come up to you and was like, "You're so lovely, you're so wonderful in the movie, I loved you"? Terrible English accent.
It was actually not bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was not bad at all. I felt like she was there.
Thank you.
If I closed my eyes, I would have started talking to Helena. She actually lived 5 minutes away from my house not my house, my family's house in London.
And she was already with Tim Burton at the time.
She was with Tim at the time.
Was he there at the premiere?
Yes.
Did you meet him?
I did. I actually went over to Helena and Tim's house because they lived so close, and after the movie, they kept inviting me over.
Do they live in like a Edward Scissorhands kind of house?
You know what was really cool? I know they're no longer together, but what I thought was really...
They're not?
No.
Oh, that's a drag. No. I thought they were the perfect couple. It's just that perfect mesh of weirdness.
They were really special to me. They wrote me as a wrap gift. They gave me the first prop that you see on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The poster that you see on the lamppost?
Yeah.
That they signed me, they signed that for me on the back of it. and I actually have it in my house.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Do you keep stuff? Do you keep stuff from sets? Do you keep like memorabilia? Do you ever ask for autographs? Because as you can see, looking in my home, I get autographs, I collect things, I do things. Because I always feel like I was always doing that beforehand, and I never thought I'd be famous, and I never thought I'd fit in. So I thought, this could be my last movie. This could be my last show every time I do something. So I'm like, I'll get an autograph. I'll have it. I'll have memorabilia. One day I'll show my kids if I have it, or my friends' kids, or whatever. And I thought it'd be cool. Do you get stuff like that? Do you keep things?
I'm exactly the same as you in the sense of like, I don't keep as much as what you've kept, to be honest. This is like a little insane.
Well, what are you gonna do?
But I think what I do, I always try to take the back of the cast chairs.
I have all those.
Yeah, just
It says
not the
it says
chair.
the project. It says your name.
Yeah.
You have it. Do you also have a chair? I'm sure you have one chair.
I don't actually have a chair. I don't have a chair. I just have the backs of them.
Do you want to hear something cool? This
Yeah.
is a big name drop.
Tell
in
me.
my office. So I was friends with the late Carrie Fisher. She was a good friend of mine, and I loved her dearly, and I miss her. But one day I came over to the house, her house, and she goes, take that chair. I go, it was her Carrie Fisher chair from Star Wars, The Force Awakens. It's a Carrie Fisher Force Awakens. And I go, okay, where do you want me to take it? She goes, home. I don't want it. I know you love this shit. So I have Carrie Fisher's cast chair
That's
in
so
my
cool.
office.
That's so
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
I always feel like Billy, her daughter's going to call me one day and say, can I have that? And I'd say probably yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd probably have to give that back.
have to
But
give it back.
that's so cool because you also think about that chair is not just a chair, obviously, like the memories of, Carrie Fisher being in that cast chair during that shoot. Like that's what it probably brings back so many. Like,
Yeah, and also her just saying, it's yours, take it. It was just meaningful. She just knew that, yeah, it's for her, it's whatever. But for me, she knows I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And I always kept my cool around her. I never really asked for stuff. I just, was always a friend. And then she just gave me the cast chair.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sorry I didn't bring anything here,
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, sorry.
What have you kept?
I have, to be honest, I just keep the back of the cast chairs and I get the script signed on the front of the front.
By the entire cast.
The cast and the crew. I always say the cast are on the front.
Right.
And then the crew's all in the script.
Really?
Yeah. So it's cool because what's amazing is the crew have made this experience. The crew have made my experience in this industry amazing because I look back on it and I'm just like, oh, I remember that person. Oh, that was so chill. There's private jokes in there too. Between me and that individual person. So it's just nice. It's like a yearbook.
Right.
It's cool.
It is like a yearbook. Was your mom right after you did this movie? You're like, I told you to do this. I said to do it.
She still says it. She literally.
It's all because of me.
She kind of says like subtly and politely, but obviously not very subtly because I pick up on it every time. But she's always like, like I was the one to tell you to go to America, like because she was the one to tell me to go to the audition. So her instinct has been right. Like her instinct.
She knew you had something.
Yeah, but I think every mom feels like this. Their child has something.
Not my mom.
Really?
No. She didn't think I had anything.
Really?
Yeah, I think she called me dummy once, maybe a few times.
Oh, that's
but
not ideal.
Well, no, not ideal. But I never felt like I've got something until I remember I did a play in college and they saw my play. He gets it from me. He gets it from me. She wants to take all the credit for it.
Yeah, of course.
So what was it after? So you were hooked after this because you had such an amazing experience with Joey.
Yeah.
Joey, the runner, and the whole cast and the crew, and you had such a great time in the premiere, and you said, I want to continue this.
Yeah, I didn't love school. So I was like, oh, wow, I get to miss school. Like, that's awesome. Like, I definitely...
But don't you get homeschooled or whatever it is on set, right? Set schooled?
To be honest, you do get set schooled. But I remember my first ever tutor, her name was Catherine, and I used to hide from her a lot. And we, a lot. Like, and she literally said to my mum at some stage, she's like, this is becoming illegal. He's not doing
He's
enough.
not learning.
Yeah, he's not doing enough hours. But that was my school. And yeah, so after that, I went back to school, got treated definitely different.
By kids?
Kids, yeah. Look,
Were you picked on?
I guess people have different ways of putting it. Some people may, I don't know, like, I guess
it doesn't seem like it was a good experience when you went back to school.
It wasn't the best experience, but you know what? Like, I've always thought that if someone's gonna like pick on you, like it's a highlight on them, not me.
Right.
You know, like I remember coming back a couple of times and they used to get my school bag and like dump out the books, you know, just trying to be funny. And I honestly didn't really care because I was just like, you know what? I don't think a lot of people have this mentality in school because, you know, you feel like, oh my God, it's forever and your high school friends are your friends forever. And the reality is, like, in my mind, I was like, well, I'm only here for a couple of more years. Like, I'm never going to really see these people again if they want to dump my books out, because at the end of the day, like, they're kind of annoyed or somewhat jealous of the fact that another student of theirs, i.e. me, is going off and doing something that they're not, you know, then like, it's a highlight on them.
Did you really have that mentality?
Yeah.
So at that young age where we could easily be picked apart and fall apart, you had the wherewithal. Thank you. That's why I have Ryan here.
Yeah.
That's
The wherewithal
Thank you, Ryan.
to know that this will subside, this will go away. This is just a moment in time. They're maybe jealous, whatever reasons. It's on them. This isn't on me. Let's just get through this.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just was always very calm. I remember like looking at my books and being like, this is like pathetic on them, you know, not me. It's like takes 5 seconds to pick it up. Like, I'm not going to spend any energy really thinking about, you know, them dumping out my books. Didn't really care.
You know, I had the wherewithal as well as a child.
Really?
Yes, I remember some kids were in the garage and they were all sniffing gas. And I grew up in a small town in Indiana. This is what people did. And they
gasoline, right?
Gasoline.
Okay.
They're sniffing gasoline and doing things that, you know. And I remember just like walking backwards out of the garage and then just like slowly turning a corner and walking back home, cutting through all the backyards, back to my house, thinking, I shouldn't be here right now. Something told me, because I could have easily, those kids were doing it, peer pressure and like, you know, and I looked back and I stopped hanging out with those kids and 2 of them went to prison. And I wonder what it would have been like if I just didn't have that. And I just felt like, you know, I want to belong, because we always want to feel like we belong. And, you know, you do something because, oh, that kid's doing it and that kid's doing it. And I don't want to feel like the odd man out. But I guess I did too, in a way where I like you, I just go, you know what, this is gonna go away. I don't belong here. This isn't the place for me.
Yeah, I guess there is that little voice inside of your head saying like, you know what, yeah, this isn't for me. Because what you just said is somewhat true in my life too. There was a kid who is kind of, the connection just wasn't there. There was something off, and he also ended up in jail. I'm not saying that obviously people end up in jail bad people at all. I just personally don't want to end up in jail, and I think that,
right.
You know, like, but I do think that people can come out of it. You know, a few of my dad's friends have been in jail and come out of it, change their life around. Like,
sure,
you know, it's not that's it, your life's over, but. Yeah, it's an area that I want to avoid for sure. But I also think, But I also think, you know, even with drugs, I think that was the same for me with drugs.
You never got into it.
Never touched.
Have you ever done a drug? So you've never done cocaine? Obviously not heroin. Why would you go to the worst one of all? And why would you jump from nothing to heroin? Mm-mm. But occasionally you have a drink.
Yeah, I have it. I mean, it's socially acceptable to drink from the womb in London, you know? So like.
But you're smart, boy. Like, you kept your head straight.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I think, like you said about your dad earlier saying that I don't drink, I don't do drugs. That was sort of, I remember I was like 9 years old. I went to the kitchen. My mum showed me a newspaper article of this. My mum obviously loves newspapers. She showed me a newspaper article of this woman who didn't have a middle part of her nostril. And because she had snorted like so much cocaine.
Oh my God.
And I was just so afraid that was going to happen to me. And then you know, as you grow up, you sort of, especially in LA, you kind of always around it, whether you know it or not. You know, and I was at a friend's house the other day, a woman's nose is bleeding, you know, from doing too much cocaine. And it's just like, it's an area that I've always just wanted to, again, avoid. I also feel like I have quite an addictive personality. Right. So I don't want to try it, because then I have a feeling that I'll like it, and then I want to have a vision of where I want my life to go, and I feel like if I start involving substances in that, it may deter off that. So, not to judge people who do it, because some people.
Oh no, judge them. They're not. They shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Everything in moderation for me. I think I've experimented and things like that, but it just never. Like I remember doing coke, and I was just like I couldn't breathe the next day. My sinuses were a mess. I was like, yeah, I didn't really have fun doing that. I don't know. I can't breathe the next day. And I don't. For me. It was weird because I have my energy, a little ADD. So when I did coke, it kind of mellowed me a little bit. It kind of slowed me down. It was the opposite effect where people would be all amped up and stuff. But it's an ugly drug. I mean, to think about, people powdering their nose. And now it's almost like, even though it was a terrible tragedy that happened where someone was snorting coke and there was fentanyl in it. You heard about that in Hollywood and some people died. Yeah. Well, hopefully that will instill some fear in the youth, where people will avoid that, that you hope that out of some tragedy that it has some good effects.
But yeah,
I don't know.
Actually,
no, I'm not preaching, but
no, it's actually my friend's brother who that happened to only recently, because it's definitely going around in LA. So I'm actually going to Vegas in a couple of weeks, and I've already told all the boys, they know I'm not really in that world, but I've sort of given them a heads up as a friend, yo, just so you know, I know you guys want to have fun, but just know that. You don't know what's in that. You really don't know what's in that. And every single person you speak to, when they say oh, no, my dealer, no, trust me, this is good stuff. I'm
isn't that the truth? No, I trust Dan. I trust Dan. Dan gets the good drugs. There's not going to be any fentanyl in the coke. The ecstasy, the mollies are going to be clean. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's what are you talking about?
Yeah, how do you know? How does anyone know?
Inside of You is brought to you by Geico. Ryan, our good friends at Geico.
Geico.
I mean, everybody knows the name Geico, folks. And look, you want to make life easy on yourselves. You want to not have to be paying your auto insurance and your homeowner's insurance and your renters and whatever it is. There's all these things that you could pay to different companies, or you could just do what, Ryan?
You can bundle it up into one cozy little bundle.
One bundle policy with Geico. It's so easy. It's a good thing, too, because, look, we're busy as hell, guys. We've got a lot to do around the house. Geico makes it easy. You just go to geico.com, and they will bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy, and they're going to give you a great deal. You know that. Go to geico.com. You get a quote. You see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. Even a Rosenbaum can do it. Inside of You is brought to you by M1 Finance. There's a reason they call M1 Finance the Finance Super App. This all-in-one app makes it easy as pie to invest, borrow, and spend exactly how you want. Build a portfolio of stocks or ETFs in minutes with their intuitive Pies interface, or use a pre-built expert pie that invests according to your goals. Investing involves risk, and M1 helps you invest according to your risk tolerance. Borrow against your portfolio with some of the lowest rates on the market, then use it however you want. Keep in mind, borrowing increases your risk and rates may vary, or stash your cash in their free digital checking account. It's fast, it's easy, and it saves you tons of time. And time is money. Switch to a sleeker, easier, and better way to manage your money. Plus, get a $30 bonus to your M1 Invest account when you get approved and fund it with $1,000 within your first 14 days. It's easy. Go to m1finance.com/insideofyou for more info. That's M as in Michael, the number 1, finance.com/insideofyou for more information. That's M, the number 1, finance.com. Terms and conditions apply. Inside of You is brought to you by my good friends at Sonos. I've talked about this for a while because Sonos is something that I've had for years, and I didn't need them as my sponsor to talk about how great they were. I spent money on Sonos for years because I just love the product. Anybody I know who has Sonos loves this stuff. It's great for the holidays, great for gifts. I could play music in each room of my house, or I could play party mode in all the rooms at the same time, or outside could be party mode, inside could be just chill with my yacht rock music. You could do anything. Sonos is affordable, it's light, you don't need big receivers and all these other things. Sonos makes it so easy. So share the joy of listening on Sonos this season. Make the sound system on your wish list a reality with speakers and sound bars that are easy to set up. I mean, they're easy, dude. I can freaking do it. They're easy to use. They all work together so you can listen in any or every room, like I talked about, and bring the family together with some incredible sound from everything from classic carols to festive films. Sonos works with all your streaming services, and control is simple with the Sonos app, your voice using Amazon Alexa, or Google Assistant and Apple AirPlay 2. Spoil the listeners in your life with a gift that keeps on giving. Treat gamers and movie lovers to an immersive home theater experience with Beam. That's BEAM. Keep your fitness-loving friends motivated with great sound for their workout playlists with Move. And help relatives relax with hand-free control of their music and more on Sonos One. I mean, why isn't Sonos on your holiday wish list? You just don't know, do you? Well, it's time. It's time to get some Sonos during the holidays. And you can go to my friendly friends over at Sonos.com to learn more and wrap up your holiday shopping. That's Sonos.com. Wizards of Waverly Place on the Disney Channel. How old were you when you got that?
17.
17. And that ultimately changed your life.
Changed my life. I don't know what I mean, I'd hope I'd still be in the industry, but it gave me the opportunity to be in the United States. So, you know, Peter Murrieta and Gary Marsh at Disney Channel, and especially Judy Taylor, who sort of had a general meeting with me in the US when I was on holiday here, took a liking to me, and then worked so hard to create, basically, they kind of created that role in Wizards for me, although they definitely didn't tell me that because they still made me audition. But, you know, they created sort of that role for me, and I'm so grateful because it allowed me to get my visa. Disney Channel sponsored it, which was incredible. And it was just, and then to get, not just get a job, but to get a job on an extremely well-written show. Some would argue probably the best Disney Channel show ever written, in the sense of not just
people love that show.
Yeah. And then Selena Gomez, obviously, who's incredible.
Well, who's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So she completely blew up. And then to have a storyline to play Selena's boyfriend, it was just like one of those like, wow, this kind of happened to me moments, because she was so successful. The show was becoming so popular, already was at the time, just won an Emmy. So it was literally the right time, right place, right character, right storyline, right co-star.
Did you have an English accent in that?
I had an English accent.
You had an English accent. But then you started veering away from that, and a lot of projects now, like Pretty Smart, you do away with that.
Yeah.
You just have an American accent.
Yeah, I think what happened was when I first got into the States, I was obviously practicing my dialect. And then Disney Channel, I booked an NBC pilot after I'd recurred on Wizards. And after 4 or 5 months of being in the United States, I had booked an NBC pilot. And I remember the pilot, it wasn't the best pilot in the world.
Oh, we do a lot of those.
So my manager, who I'm still with today,
good for you.
My manager, who I'm still with, was like, okay, I'm going to now teach you about leverage. And so went back to Disney. I went back to Disney Channel and said, okay, he's going to not be on the show. And at the time, my character was extremely loved, and they didn't want to lose that storyline. And so Disney Channel put me under a 2-picture deal and guaranteed me, I can't remember the exact amount of episodes on the show, but that secured basically a relationship over 2 years or 3 years with the Disney Channel, which is what I wanted, obviously, over an NBC pilot.
Right.
And then one of those movies of the 2-picture deal was a movie where they said, oh, no, you're going to be English, you're going to be English, you're going to be English. We got to New Zealand 4 days before we started shooting. The director came up to me and said, his name was Stuart, and goes to me, hey, I think we're going to do American for this. I'm like, wait, sorry, what? You're going to make me do an American accent on a worldwide platform, and I've got 4 days to practice this? And so obviously did a crash course. It wasn't perfect. Now looking back on it, it wasn't perfect.
You hear yourself some words.
For sure.
Yeah, of course.
For sure. But I'm happy I did it because it made me jump in the deep end. And
terrifying.
And terrifying, like just so not natural. But now, obviously doing Pretty Smart, it allowed me to, really jump into it and have the confidence of like, okay, if I can kind of do it once, then the next time I do it, I'm definitely going to be able to like achieve it. So then ever since, I just sort of went into dialect coach and dialect coaching and just did it.
What are the toughest words to do an American accent? The toughest words that you think?
I think world was tough. You guys say world, right?
Yeah.
Like at first I was like, wait, what? I just say world.
World.
Yeah.
It's world. Everything would be perfect except world. You're like, yes, I think this is an amazing world. That's so, right.
Burger's a tough word.
Burger.
Yeah.
Burger's a tough one.
It's tough.
The world.
Yeah.
Burger.
Yeah. And the U sounds are tough too, because we're very chewy with our. I speak a lot with my lips, and I'm very chewy on my words.
Right.
Whereas Americans, further back here and a lot more relaxed.
Why can't we? Why is it that Americans can't do English accents?
You guys don't need to. You guys have the you guys have the market. It's fine.
But some people can. Who does the best English accent? You think as an American that you're like, fuck, she or he are really good, aren't they?
I don't know. I don't know.
Really?
I really don't know. I haven't heard too many.
I always try to think of Gary Oldman's voice when I do an English accent. He did this interview when he was doing Dracula, and he didn't like Francis Ford Coppola. He wasn't getting along with Francis Ford Coppola. He goes, well, when you're dealing in an industry like this, you have to have a great ego. And Francis Ford Coppola has an ego the size of San Francisco. And I've got a pretty big one too. So is that terrible?
No. It's actually I mean it. If I close,
not great.
If I close my eyes, I could buy that.
You could buy it.
Yeah.
Where would you say I'm from? When you're dealing in an industry like this, you've got to have a great ego. And Francis Ford, that word was fucked. I could tell you laughed at that word. When you're dealing in an industry like this, you have to have a great ego. And Francis Ford Coppola has an ego the size of San Francisco.
I would say you're from London. It's pretty neutral.
Really?
Yeah. For sure.
Can you do a
good.
Cockney?
My dad's Cockney. So he speaks a bit like, you all right, mate? How you doing? Like, he's a bit like rough and ready.
Really?
Yeah,
what about
my
mom?
dad. Mum's also a little bit the same, but she swears a lot.
She swears a lot. What's her favorite word? Why is it that English people could say and everything's fine?
My mum does not allow me to say that word. That's one word she just refuses.
One word you can't say. But the English use the word freely. Like,
yeah, we say it. We do say it a lot, and sometimes we call our friends that too.
But your mom doesn't like when you say it.
No, she hates it. She won't allow me to say it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she spells the letters out.
It's too harsh in an American accent.
It can be like amongst a few mates of mine. It's basic sometimes like saying mate, but I definitely think it's in America. Obviously, definitely not. It's not approved in my household, but I know in America it's not approved either.
So you can't say that.
No.
What can you say? Can you say fuck?
My mum does. I mean, in my life for sure, like would definitely say it to my mates. But in my household,
you really have a respect for your mother. You really try not to. Do you say it? You swear it all around your mother?
If I'm really annoyed, yeah. If I'm really annoyed,
what will you say?
I would probably just, say the F word, to be honest.
Mum, that's just fucked.
But I wouldn't say it to her.
The situation's fucked, Mom.
think
You're not fucked.
I think, no, I swore once at her. She slapped me around the face.
She slapped you?
Yeah.
How old were you?
14, 15.
And you never did it again?
Nah. And she told me to never do it again, so I didn't.
What's her favorite word? Her curse word?
She can say anything. It's she.
But what is the one thing you always hear her say if it's a swear word? Shit. Shite.
No, she tells me.
I love this.
She tells me to fuck off a lot.
She does.
Yeah, fuck off.
Really, but you don't say it back.
How can I?
Yeah, Mom, you too. You fuck off too.
Yeah,
it just won't work. It's just not as. Yeah, I don't swear. It's weird. I don't really swear around my father. I don't say the F word around my father. It's weird. I'll say F.
Yeah.
I'll say, God, that's so effed.
Yeah.
But you lose a little something there.
Yeah, it's not as impactful, is it?
No. What about Selena Gomez? Do you still talk to her? Are you still friends?
For sure, still friends. It's funny enough, I saw her a couple of months ago and I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. And I just said to her, sometimes when you're doing a show, you just think life's, you think it's normal. And then it took me a few years to really, I mean, look, I always appreciated her, but then knowing what that show has done for my career, I owe everything to the writers. I owe everything to Judy, Gary, and Selena was a huge part of that because Selena was the one that if she didn't want me on the show,
she would have said,
hey, like, find a new boyfriend, right? Which
Right.
they would have done in a second. No, but
I'm not kissing him.
No, I think, and when I went on the show, that was something that I think she really appreciated, was that I was extremely respectful, especially in kissing scenes, because, at the end of the day, yes, it's her job to kiss her co-star, but like, she's a human, you want to respect those boundaries too. And so I think she really appreciated the fact that I respected those. And she welcomed me. She welcomed me. At the end of the day, it was her show. All the other cast members became close friends. David Henry became my best friend.
I love David Henry.
My best brothers.
Great guy.
Brothers.
Great guy.
Jim, Linda, his parents, and became my parents.
Yeah.
I had a appendectomy when we were shooting the show, and because my mom and dad were in London, Linda was the first one at the hospital. So, they were like my family out here. And so it wasn't just Selena who welcomed me. It was David, the two Davids, Deloise, hilarious Jake T. Austin, Maria, Jennifer Stone.
So you're just close friends with everybody.
Yeah. Jennifer's now a nurse. I saw her like last month.
She left acting.
She still dabbles in it, but she's a nurse also.
Right. Is there anything else you could do, like you would do if it wasn't acting? If you weren't an actor, what would you do?
Yeah, I think definitely I would love. I mean, I do. Aside from acting, I do real estate. Like I've been investing.
You dabbled in what your dad and your brother were doing.
Yeah, I've always, like, my dad always said to me, like, as soon as you can, buy real estate. So I did.
Really? So you would sell real estate if you weren't an actor?
I mean, my plan is to never sell real estate. My plan is to buy it, hold it,
right,
and never sell any real estate.
Right.
Just because of
it's smart. Hold on to it. Real estate's the best investment you can make for the most part.
And so I've always I've always sort of had an entrepreneurial sort of mindset. Like I've always, anytime I could invest, I invested, whether it's, stocks, obviously crypto is an asset class, which, my accountant keeps telling me, hey, slow down.
He knows more than me.
It's Vegas money, which it is, but it's definitely an asset class. But yeah, I definitely think on the entrepreneurial side, for sure, like I've always wanted to do more than acting. I really want to produce. You want to have your own production company. Yeah. I saw an interview, you were like, I want to have 40 projects. I want to be The Rock. Yeah.
I want to have all these projects.
Yeah.
And you feel like that's plausible.
If I work hard enough, yeah.
I mean, you're still young. You're young enough where you could start doing this now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm already sort of in the process. I've been obtaining IP on books and stuff like that. We've actually pitched a couple shows to around town over the last 7 weeks.
I want you to remember this face.
I will.
When you have some
how could I forget
when you have 40 projects, I want you to remember this one face for 40 projects.
Okay, done.
There's got to be somewhere where I fit in there.
Yeah, you do. In all of them.
Go ahead. You're going to say something.
No, yeah. So and aside from acting, I have always been very interested in like forensics. Like I'd be very interested to see what a detective would be like.
Have you ever seen a dead body?
Never seen a dead body.
Have you ever smelled a dead body?
No, I don't really.
It is the worst. It's a smell that you don't forget. Mm-hmm. There was a guy that died in our building in New York, and I walked in and I go, oh my God, that's like sour milk, but worse. And my friend was like, dude, that's a dead body. I'm like, no. And the guy 3 doors down was decomposing for like 2 weeks, and it was seeping through. And I remember my friend Dave, he'd knock on the door, and he'd say at the intercom, I go, hey, Dave, the elevator's broken, so you have to take the stairwell. And he goes, oh, all right. And he almost died on his way up because I forced him to take the stairwell up the stairs. And it was just like, but it's once you smell a dead body, you'll never forget that smell. They told me that, and I never forgot it. If I smelled it again, I know what that was.
Right.
I don't know if I could deal with forensics and all that shit.
I know, but if no one does, then you can't just get away with killing people. So someone's going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, think about that.
I mean, someone's got to take care of it. Someone's got to smell that shit.
Someone's going to make sure that the law is,
So you could get into that.
I would definitely, I could definitely.
I could see you as a detective on like True Detective or something like that.
I'd happily do it.
Yeah, right.
Happily do it.
Back to kissing Selena Gomez. Let's talk about that for a second. I know it's all about respect, and I've been there, and I've had to kiss people, and talk about respect.
Jesus.
Good ringtone.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, very nice.
You know who that is?
No.
That's Electric Light Orchestra, ELO.
Oh.
Blue Days. Dark nights.
Okay.
Do I.
I'll be educating myself and listening on the way home.
You will listen to ELO,
Okay.
their greatest hits, and you will say, this is brilliant.
All right.
I think they're English.
Well,
Not that,
I love
not that it makes them brilliant.
no, well.
Although having an English accent makes you do sound smarter. How I just stuttered and like couldn't get through a sentence. If you like, even having like an English accent and you could stutter and still sound smart.
Yeah, I definitely think sometimes I've got away with it over here sometimes because what I'm saying may not necessarily be the most intelligent thing in the world. However, it sounds okay. So
right. But the respect thing when you're doing a kissing scene, and it's just like, hey, I want to have first of all, have a breath mint. Don't have a tuna sandwich before, before you kiss. Make sure the person's comfortable. But there's also come on. Sometimes aren't you a little bit like excited to kiss a certain person as opposed to sometimes where you're like, oh, this is work. And then the other thing is like, this is good work.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid to kiss Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I think at the time though, I was so because I think Selena was with Justin at the time.
Oh,
So that was an area that I did not want to even like
Cross.
interfere with. Because I also really liked him too, and he used to come to set a lot.
Was he really nice?
Really nice.
I played hockey with him in a tournament, and he was really nice. And the first thing he did was walk up to me and goes, "Hey, how's the girl in Smallville? Was she cool? Lana Lang?" I'm like, yeah. Was she really? He like really was enamored by her.
Yeah,
and liked her. We talked about that.
Yeah, he's a big hockey. Big
hockey fan. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, it's look, everyone's human. Like, of course, like if there's a beautiful human being, like.
Okay, this doesn't suck.
Yeah, it doesn't suck. But with Selena particularly, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was genuinely thinking like, this is her show.
Right.
Like I don't want to.
So you didn't even. But at the end of the day, did you walk off set in your head, just in like a young? How old are you?
So, cause at that point, I think I was like 18 or 19.
Okay, so let's say 18-year-old walking off set, you just kissed Selena Gomez. Wasn't there that kind of like, those lips were just fluffy? Wonderful.
I was very what's the word? I wasn't shy when I was 17, but I definitely wasn't extremely confident. So
you didn't know if she even liked kissing you?
Yeah, I was just like.
Did she ever say something like, "Hey, good job"?
No.
Really nice lips.
No.
That was an excellent kiss.
No.
You never did that.
No.
I did that once before, where I'm like, that was a great kiss. I felt that was real. That was. I think we did. How did it look on camera? That felt great. Did you? Was that okay? Was my breath all right? I want to know these things. But you didn't. You never went there.
No. I wanted to keep my job. I just always wanted to get in, do my job, get out.
That's amazing. But she liked you enough. You didn't get fired.
No. And I said to her a couple of months ago, thank you. And we had a real heart to heart because that show was both of ours, same for her. Like that show brings her back to before she was Selena Gomez, the pop star, when she was just Selena walking down the street. Right. So yeah, I think it was just a really special bond that everybody had because it was the start for everybody.
Could you go see her in a concert? Would she give you free tickets?
I hope so. I'd definitely go support her in a concert though. I'd be happy to buy them. But right. I mean, I
have you seen her perform?
I've never seen her perform.
Really?
No.
Would you like to?
Yeah, I think she's great.
Yeah, she is.
I think she's great.
She's got a really great voice.
Yeah.
How old is she now?
20. She's probably 27, 26, 27.
And she's done with Bieber.
Yeah, he's married.
He got married?
Yeah.
Bieb's married?
Yeah. He's married.
How was he on set though?
Lovely.
Was he really lovely?
Yeah, lovely. Just
he would go out of his way to just be nice?
Yeah, he was very chill. Like at the time, it's tough for any human being at that level of fame. Fame is such a crazy, especially that level of fame. How do you comprehend? I know people judge. It's so easy to judge somebody when they're extremely famous. When you don't know somebody, or it's like, oh, he walked by me, he didn't smile. It's like, he walks by every single human for the rest of his life. What, he's going to just have a permanent grin on his face forever? Like,
Right. He's
gotta,
human.
Yeah, he's got to live his own life too. And I just respect, look, mistakes happen. I'm sure he'd be the first one to sort of admit that.
Yeah.
But his growth is what I think is really inspiring.
Yeah.
How much he gives back now, what kind of example he's setting to the youth. Because, it's like today we live in, a lot of the world of influencers, but he has a huge influence on so many people. And I think what he puts out there is really important. And I think he is a great example right now to young people to spread kindness, and he's setting a good example.
Wow.
And I really respect that.
Yeah.
Because for him to find himself whilst being the most famous person on the planet with unlimited funds and unlimited access to anything and anyone,
It can be dangerous. It
very
is dangerous. It's dangerous to most people.
So I respect what he's done a lot.
How much fun did you have doing Runaways?
How much fun. It was so cool.
It's Marvel. You did 3 seasons?
3 seasons.
3 seasons. Why
Yeah.
only 3 seasons?
I think streaming wise, I think financially
That's the cutting point.
have to potentially renegotiate with
After
everybody
the 3rd season.
after the 3rd season. They don't have to, but I think that it's sort of an unspoken.
And you would have killed them in renegotiations. You would have said, "I want so much money."
It's Disney. I don't think anyone kills Disney in negotiations.
I think you're right. I don't think anybody kills anybody in negotiations. But what was that like? I mean, it was a fun character to play.
Really fun character to play. I learned a lot on the visual effects side of stuff. I thought that was great.
Because you always had that dinosaur,
The dinosaur.
right? And they had like animatronics, and you had a special effects team, and I mean, they put money behind it.
Yeah, they spent a fortune on the show. Also, it was a dream of mine to shoot at Paramount. I remember when my mom and dad were...
Because you lived near there.
Yeah, well, I live, 15 minutes.
Right.
But I remember when I first moved to LA, sitting outside, praying with my mom in the car of like, I'm going into an audition. I hope I work here one day. And then literally to have a key code, to have the pass that every morning you then check in and you just drive in and you say hi to the security guards and like you see the Paramount sign and you're the first trailers right there on Paramount. It's like, wait, what is happening here? Like to remind myself to pinch myself a lot. I had to remind myself to pinch myself a lot because it was like, wait, I've dreamed of this moment.
You really prayed with your mom in the car?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? You closed your eyes?
Yeah.
And what did you say? Did you speak out loud, or was it a silent prayer?
I'm quite an internal. I pray.
An internal prayer.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. Did you hold hands?
Mm-mm.
She just kind of closed her eyes. You closed your eyes, and you just said what you needed to say. She probably said something like, "Bless my son. He's a good kid. Doesn't mean bone in his body. Doesn't do any snort.
Yeah.
He doesn't do any blow. He's a good kid. Let him work on this a lot. This is a dream of his.
Yeah.
Whatever that is."
And then I'm sure the praying continued once I got out the car. Yeah, I'm sure she was praying from then to the end when I came back. But,
Right.
Yeah, it was just so cool. And then Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage, who wrote the show, wrote Gossip Girl, and they were spectacular. Like, they were so smart. After working with them, I understand why they're so successful. Josh's sister actually lives 2 doors down from me, which was sort of a weird coincidence now.
Wow.
But yeah, he's great. And then Jeff Loeb at Marvel.
I love Jeff Loeb.
Yeah,
He's great. He worked on Smallville.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a writer on Smallville.
He actually texted me yesterday. He wants to get dinner next week, which, it's another.
Ask Jeff if Michael Rosenbaum can come to dinner.
Okay, perfect.
You should do it.
I
You should
will.
just text him.
I will.
He'll say, sure, if you want him to.
I love that.
No, he's a great guy.
Okay.
He's a great guy.
See you at dinner.
All right, I'll see you at dinner.
But Jeff's great. And he, he believed in me, gave me the opportunity to obviously work in Marvel. But then at the top, I think Jeff was leaving, and I think a new executive was coming in. It was during the merge, of Disney buying Fox and blah, blah, blah. So I think for all Marvel shows, we were the last Marvel show. We were the last Marvel television show. The Punisher got cancelled, and then we were the last one to stay on. Because I think, as a new executive comes in, they want a clean slate. So I think that's also what happened. I think it was from a budget point of view, but also from a personal executive point of view.
Have you ever gone to conventions and signed autographs?
Yeah.
So what do you sign for? Most of your autographs are for Runaways?
You know what's crazy? I feel like that's why I'm so happy and grateful with just the jobs, because some people come up to me for Wizards. Some people come up to me because I did a few episodes on Pretty Little Liars,
Yes.
which is a huge show. Some people come up to me on Faking It, which is a really important show for the LGBTQIA community.
Is it now IA?
I believe so.
I got to get that right. Yeah.
And so it was a great opportunity. So it's nice. And then Marvel and I haven't obviously been convention since Pretty Smart came out. But yeah, so
Do you like conventions? Do you like interacting with fans? What's that like for you?
I really like it. I love seeing their faces like up close and personal, seeing
Right.
their like reaction. Sometimes
The girls cry.
girls cry.
They see you and they cry.
They cry, yeah.
And what do? Do you cry back?
I don't cry back.
Are you ever touched by a
Really
story they
touched.
tell you? And then
Really
you might,
touched.
right.
I mean, I've had people show me that they have tattoos of my face on them, which I feel like a little
tattoos of your face on them.
Yeah.
Where?
arm. I mean, they didn't show me anything else. Thank
Okay.
God, so,
Okay. Good.
All
right. That's good.
But it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's amazing. But at the same time, you always think like, okay, I know it's amazing. Thank you so much for being so kind, but I'm just me. So there's like a weird.
It's hard to show that you're just a regular guy because you really are a genuinely good guy. So you want to like make sure that they know that. You're almost trying to prove yourself like, I'm just a regular guy, but at the same time, they don't see you as that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of this dichotomy of like, sort of like, it's cool and you're yourself, but at the same time, you're this persona, you're this image that they have, and you have to, do you feel like you have to live up to that?
I think it's important to, you're there for a reason, which is people are coming to see you. And even if you're having a bad day, you have to make sure that they have a nice experience.
Right.
Because,
I agree.
like with these people, without your fans, you don't have a career. So it's important to make sure that they feel love too, because they give so much love. So an actor or a singer or whoever is at the convention can give some love and time back, you know?
Yeah.
Because they would do anything for you. They'd watch every show you put out.
Yeah.
They'd buy anything that you...
They'd listen to this podcast.
Yeah, for sure. And it's and they're just diehard fans. And so it's important to make sure that they feel respected and loved.
Yeah. What about Pretty Smart? How much are you enjoying that?
The best experience of my life.
You really, I could tell. I saw some interviews and you just have so much fun doing that. Again, you have an American accent.
Yeah.
You have, and you have to keep in perfect shape. Like I saw the workout you did before you got here this morning and I had an anxiety attack because I thought, I can't do this. And also that I felt like I'm doing things wrong because you start talking about how you always have this like, you always get the blood going. You have to have cardio first before you go into strengthening. I just walk down there and I just kind of lift up weights and I just kind of do some weights and then I leave. But there's a whole regimen to it. There's a whole mindset, right?
Yeah, it's...
And that's your addiction, not the drugs, but working out, health conscious.
Yes. I think especially for the show, when you've got a real reason, Netflix is a huge platform. And 210 million or subscribers or something insane.
Wow.
And so I knew that I was going to be shirtless. And so I knew that tape was going to last forever. And so, yeah, you have a real motivation to make sure you're in the best shape ever, But aside from the show, I do live a very healthy lifestyle. I eat pretty well.
What do you eat? Like, take me through a day. Just like, what will you have for breakfast?
I'll probably have avocado toast, maybe some oatmeal. I have some, eggs too. And then I'm on a meal plan. So, for lunch, I'll either have a salad or I'll
With
have
chicken in it maybe or
yeah,
fish?
chicken, eggs. I don't do the sauce, which people look at me, they're like, oh, you're eating salad just
Because
cream.
that's where all the bad stuff comes in. It's the sweetness and the sugary and right. But is it kind of bland to have a salad?
I love it. I love it. Because I just think
Do you make your own salads?
No, like sometimes I'll like go to Sweet Green. Sweet Green has great salads.
Right.
Or I'll just get it from the meal plan.
Right.
But then I'll have salmon. I'll eat, quinoa.
Yep. But no candy bars, no chips, crackers.
No.
You really stay away from most of that.
Definitely when I'm shooting.
No sodas, right?
No.
Are those the things that kill you?
I hate soda.
Really?
Hate soda. I don't really get it. Like when people have
it's so refreshing and crisp.
Mm-mm.
It's like you take a sip of a Diet Coke and it's just like your whole mouth just explodes.
Yeah, and then like 5 minutes later, you can feel it.
Oh, no, I feel it and I see it. I see it. I see it in the gut. I see it. What would you recommend
great.
for a 49-year-old who just wants to stay in shape? What would you say? Get rid of sodas, get rid of the candy and the sugars, and just eat balanced meals and try to work out a couple of days a week. Is as simple as that?
I mean, definitely do some exercise every day, you know, like whether it's going for like a brisk walk for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, light jog for 15, 20 minutes in the morning. And just stay away from stuff that you can avoid. Soda's not good. Drinking water is very important.
Really?
Very important.
A lot of water?
Yeah, a lot
How
of
much
water.
water do you drink a day?
I mean, it's funny, I don't actually have it. I think I have it in my car, but it's a gallon. You know, one of those water bottles that tell you exactly like,
Right.
oh, 9 a.m. you're doing good.
Yeah.
11 a.m. keep going. I have one of those and more.
By the way, you know, it's Hollywood. You go through relationships, you go through breakups, you hear it all the time. Every actor goes through it. Are you mostly friends? Like, for instance, Bella Thorne. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but are you still like, what's the word?
Cordial?
Cordial.
For sure.
You are?
Yeah, probably more than cordial, because when you go through a relationship, you go through, it depends obviously how it ends and why it ends. But, you know, I think with Bella and I, I've just always it was always important to me that she grew up to live out her truth. And so we come from very opposite family dynamics. And so she unfortunately lost her dad when she was, I think, 9.
Wow.
And so it was really important to me that she felt loved and supported, whether or not she was in a relationship with me or out of a relationship with me. And so after the relationship, it was, important to me that I said it to her. I was like, just so you know, like I'm here for you as a friend. I always will be. And I always will be.
So if someone came up to her and said, hey, how was it dating Gregg Sulkin? You think what does your gut say? What did your gut say you think she'd say?
She wouldn't. There aren't many reasons why she would say it was bad. You know,
Right.
like
I mean, nothing's perfect.
Yeah, no.
Things end. Most things end.
Yeah, she would say, yeah, I probably love Greg. It's probably what I think.
You hope she would say that.
Yeah. I hope she would say it, but I think she
fair.
probably would.
And how much does Michelle like you talking about her, bringing up her name?
Bella invites us to her birthday parties every year.
Come on.
So Michelle and
This
Bella,
is like a fairy tale fucking life here.
Yeah, but I think it was important.
That's nice.
We both, all three of us actually created that dynamic because it requires a lot of like
Maturity.
Yeah, you know, me explaining to Michelle that like Bella's a person that I will always be there for if she ever needed something. Michelle was like extremely mature and understood that and respected that. And then on all angles, just like I wish her the best, she wishes me the best. She loves Michelle. I really respect Ben, who Bella's engaged to now. So yeah, just sort of, you know,
it's hey, can ask for better.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than an ex hating you.
Yeah, there's just no need. There's just no need.
There's no need for it.
Especially if no one's done anything wrong, you know. If it was
Right.
just a simple like, hey, we're just growing.
We just
in
didn't
different
work
ways.
out. We're just like we're not compatible.
Yeah.
This is called Shit Talking with Gregg Sulkin. This is just for my patrons. You can go to patreon.com/inside of you. These are people who support the podcast a little more. They ask a few questions. It's rapid fire.
Great, let's go.
Little Lisa, do you have any hidden talents
Hidden talents.
besides real estate?
Yeah. You was a handball champion when I was a kid.
You were a handball champion.
Yeah, as a kid. I mean, me and my partner, but it wasn't just me. It was a shared championship. But yes.
Wow. Handball.
Yeah, it was like, we call it fives in England.
Fives.
Yeah, which is like you play in like a concrete squash.
Yep.
It's really cool sport. I loved it.
Do you still play it?
No.
No.
'cause
Do you
I don't
like
have
to
a
play?
court.
Would you like to play again sometime?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Michelle K., what's a misconception you had about Americans or the U.S. in general?
Misconceptions.
That's a tough one. You thought they were all vulgar and rude?
No. I love this country. I
They have
think
the best burgers in the world.
Burgers in the world. Burgers in the world.
I think probably that I just assumed that the country was all the same, and that over time you realize that, wow, this country's huge and has so many different, incredible parts to it. You've got Southern California, but even in the middle of the country, it's, there's great places.
Dana asks, who have you met that made you goof out a little bit over?
I think when I was a child, David Beckham.
And you met him?
Yeah, I actually met him again last week at his very close friend's birthday party, who's also a close friend of mine, and lovely.
What actor, though, are you starstruck over?
Oh, actor? I haven't met him, but I think I'd like to have a drink with Clooney.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? Because he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Because you seem like such a gentleman that maybe,
Well, thank you. Yeah, you know what's crazy is my castmate on Runaways, Renzi, just did a movie with Clooney. And so I was getting all of the information from like, what's he like? And my other buddy, Graham, worked with Clooney on a Hulu show. So I feel like I've got to be next. Like, that is my dream, to work with Clooney.
I can't wait to see you as a bastard.
As a bastard.
To play a bastard.
I'd love to.
I really think you'd be great at that, and I think it will surprise everybody. And it will be one of those things where the headlines are like, "Oh, Gregg Sulkin, he played all these great, nice guys, and now he just he's
a bastard.
He's evil incarnate in The Bastard."
Called The Bastard, right?
It will be called The Bastard.
Great.
I don't know if your mom would like it. Does she want you to play those kind of roles?
That's not so bad. No, The Bastard's fine. I'd definitely, but that's acting, I'd love to play that.
So you want a production company, you want to make your own, you want to put your friends in all these projects. What else is there? What's up? Anything coming up? I know you did a horror movie called Don't Hang Up.
Yes.
And I haven't seen that yet, but how was it? Because I love horror. I'm as you can see, a big horror fan. What was your experience on that?
I think my lesson from that movie was make sure when you read the script, you're looking at how many nighttime shoots and how many exteriors and interiors.
How hard is that?
Because it's wet, it's bloody, and it's cold a lot of the time.
And you have to cry a lot.
Cry a lot.
Did you ever have to have them blow glycerin in your eyes or whatever to help you cry? I'm sure.
I think after like week 4,
you're like, fuck it, I don't care.
Because I got to such an emotional low point that it was just like awful. I remember calling my dad at the end of the project and being like, "Dad, I don't know if I can do this." Like that was the lowest point in acting, I think.
What was it about that? Did you feel like you were just mentally and physically too tired to continue?
Yeah, I just went to too many dark places that it wasn't enjoyable for me anymore. Did
that make you sort of deter from doing horror movies? Like you wouldn't want to do one again unless it was no night shoots, not as much crying, not as much as an emotional voyage?
No, I think that you just got to be careful with how many horror movies you do.
Yeah.
So now I'd only do one if it really made sense.
Right.
And also it really made me think like, oh, I want to do comedy. And I'm a happier human offset when I'm doing a comedy. I'm in a better I'm in a better headspace. So if I could pick and choose, comedy is definitely something that I'd like to stick with just for the next little while. And that's why the show is amazing, because
pretty smart.
I love
Netflix.
those people. I love those people.
Yeah. It looks like you're just having a great time. And it's the producers of How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's witty. It's smart. It's pretty smart.
Yeah, it's pretty smart.
And you have a great time doing it. It doesn't feel like a job.
Mm-mm.
Is it in front of a live studio audience?
Well, no, because of COVID.
All right.
But if we get a second season, then yes, it will be.
So you really want to do it again?
Yeah, because I've done multicam. I did Wizards. I did a show called Melissa and Joey with Joey Lawrence and Melissa Joan Hart, who were so good and such professionals. Love them too. And those two. And I did Young and Hungry too with Emily Osment, who I'm working with again.
Yeah.
Who is so good at multicam. It's absurd. And so I don't want this job to end. Like, I don't want the job to end because I'm learning so much. I'm having so much fun doing it. I'm working with great directors. Pamela Fryman directed us. Phil Lewis, who's unbelievable. So yeah, I do not want it to end.
You don't seem like a person who gets really down or gets anxiety. Do you ever deal with any anxiety or depression or anything like that?
I don't deal with social anxiety. I know a few close people to me that do deal with social anxiety. So I always used to think like, I guess I used to be part of the problem with anxiety in the sense of I didn't really take it seriously. I just thought it was like,
Oh, come on. It's fine.
It's fine, but it's not. Mental health is a real thing, and it's so tough because you can't see it, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, the brain is so complex, and, you know, that's why it's tough being an actor. I'm sure you feel like this too, but, you know, you get messages and it's sometimes dark, like, hey, I'm thinking of not being here any longer. What do I do? And I'm just like, hold on, like, I seek professional help because I'm not qualified to do that. It's like mental health is a real thing, and so it needs to be taken seriously. So if you do have an issue, try to seek out professional help. You know, of course, have your friends and stuff, but like, you know, it's weird. But thankfully for me, no social anxiety. Of course, I have low days, low moments.
Sure. You get sad.
Yeah.
But it seems like, you know, part of your routine, part of your regimen is the fact that you work out a lot, you eat right, you're not putting bullshit in your body. And that probably helps a lot.
Yeah.
That probably does, you know, getting the exercise, getting the heart rate up, doing all these things. A lot of times, you know, I feel like when I'm down, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, it's because I'm not exercising, I'm not taking care of myself, I'm not taking care of the machine. And when you don't take care of the machine, you kind of fall apart. Mm-hmm. You know, things need some oiling and lubing.
Sure.
Is that right? Sure. Is that right? Man, this has been a lot of fun. I was a little nervous because I don't know you. And I felt like, you know, like, what are we going to talk? You are so easy to talk to.
Oh, well, likewise.
You're really open and fun. And I had a great time today.
Dude, perfect. And by the way, I'm going to text Jeff. You can come you're welcome to come to dinner.
Text Jeff.
I will.
Yeah, if I'm not working, I'd love to come.
All
I love Jeff. He's a great guy. We'll have a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on here.
No, of course.
I really appreciate you allowing me to be inside of you today.
Thank you. I mean, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, I say it to everybody. Yeah, not everybody. Well, that was a treat. He was a treat. And, you know, I don't really feel like we've had a bad guest yet, Ryan.
Would we say if we did?
I wouldn't say it, but, you know, I really enjoyed talking to Gregg.
He was fun. It was good.
It was fun. I always say to you after the podcast, I go, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And you're like, it was great.
Yeah.
And I always know it's the Ryan Tejas meter. You know, you'll be like, yeah, that means it was okay.
Because sometimes you look at me like, I don't know what I'm going to talk to this guy about. And then an hour and 10 minutes later,
boom.
You've talked to this guy.
We've talked. Hey, thanks for listening again. Please support the podcast. Continue to support the podcast. Again, if you didn't know who Gregg Sulkin was today, maybe you enjoyed it. Maybe you'll enjoy next week. And there's a list of guests that we've already had on. Our Inside of You clips hit 10 million views.
Sweet.
So that was really sweet. Thank you for going on YouTube and watching us and checking out the clips and all the other fun stuff that we do. Check out the Inside of You online store for merch, sunspin.com for a Zoom with me and Rob, or also merch, and join Patreon to support the podcast. I appreciate all my patrons. We're going to give a big shout out. And lastly, before I give the shout out to all the top tier patrons who give a lot to the podcast, remember, if you want to give back, you could give back to echoesofhope.org to help the youth. I think there's a big problem today with you know, not only homeless, but with you know, teenagers and, you know, foster youth trying to get their lives together. And if you go to echoesofhope.org, you can help them out, and foodonfoot.org to help homeless people out. My good friends at foodonfoot.org. Tell them Rosenbaum sent you, and we love you. We're going to give a shout out to all the top tiers. Mm-hmm. You hear that? Those are the gardeners.
Oh, yeah, I hear that.
Here we go. Big shout out to Nancy D, Leah S, Trisha F, Sarah V, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Jill E, Brian H, Mama Lauren G, Nico P, Jerry W, Robert B, Jason W, Kristen K, not to be confused with
Kristen Kruk,
Amelia O, Allison L, Raj C, Joshua D, Emily S, CJP, Samantha M, Jennifer N, Stacy L, Jen S, Jamal
B,
F, Janelle B.
Yeah.
Kimberly E, Mike E, L, Don Suprema. What up, Dan? 99 more, Ramira, Santiago M, Sarah F, Chad W, Leanne P, Janine R, Maya P, Maddie S, Belinda N, Chris H, Dave H, Spider-Man,
Chase,
Sheila
G,
Brad
D,
Ray
A,
yes, Tabitha T, Liliana A, Michelle K, Michael S., Talia M., Betsy D., Claire M., Laura L., Chad L., Rochelle, Nathan E., Marion, Meg K., Janelle P., Trav L., Dan N., Big Stevie W. We're almost done. I love these people. Angel M., Rhiannon C. They just stick with me. Corey K., Super Sam, Coleman G., Dev Nexon, Michelle A., Liz I., Jeremy C., Andy T., Cody R., Sebastian K., Gavinator, David C., John B., Brandy D., Yavor, Camille S., Bano, or is it Bono?
We'll never know.
The C, LC in Spanish. Joey M., Willie F., Christina E., Adelaide N., Jeffrey M., Omar I., Lena N., Design OTG, Eugene and Lee, or Leah, Eugene and Lee, Chris P., Nikki G., Corey, KTB, Patricia, Maria N., Heather L., and Jake B. I couldn't do the show without you guys. Top tier patrons who, if you want to join Patreon and join the family, you get a lot of stuff. There's a lot of tiers. Patreon.com/inside of you. Yeah. Ryan?
Cool.
Are you ready for the holidays?
I am. You know, it's weird. This time of year, it's just I just feel like the year's done, and I just feel like we're just.
Are you sad?
It makes me sad.
Somber?
Beginning of December makes me a little somber.
It does, because it's all the holidays are passing us by, and then you get to the beginning of next year, and it's just like work. But you know what? We still have a month left of the holidays and Christmas spirit and the. So just I will say this, Ryan.
What's the true?
It's
meaning
not
of Christmas?
over. It's not over yet. The holidays aren't over. We still have some time. Let's try to enjoy each day. Let's try to be grateful for each day that we have. And it's hard, but hey, we're here today. Mm-hmm. We're together. You brought me a bottle of wine.
I did do that.
I'm very happy about it. Had a great podcast today. So, hey, things could always be a lot worse. So try to stay positive. Try to stay happy. I'm saying that because it's hard.
And that's the true meaning of Christmas, Charlie Brown.
That's the true meaning of Christmas. Hey, guys, I love you. And thanks for allowing me to be inside of each and every one of you, from myself, Michael Rosenbaum.
For myself, Ryan Tate.
Here in the Hollywood Hills of California. We love you. And come back and see us. Come back and join us. And please continue to support the podcast. Thanks, guys.